Running a business is hard enough. And then when you start adding in, hey, I need to do SEO, I need to do paid advertising, I need to do social media, it starts getting overwhelming really fast. And so one common question that small business owners have is, when is it appropriate for me to hire an internal marketing person? And then when is it appropriate for me to hire an agency? That question is something that I had to answer quite frequently when I was a lead marketer. So my history is I've owned Bear Fox about the last 8 years. Prior to that, I was 18 years in different company marketing roles. The last company that I worked for, I was the chief marketing officer for a consumer goods company. They weren't huge when we started. They were about 15 million a year, and then it grew up to be quite large. When I left, they were doing about $1 billion a year in revenue. It was really interesting because we changed. We started out when we were smaller, when we were doing 15 million a year. It was myself, one other internal marketing person, and then a number of agencies that we worked with. Why did we work with agencies? And at what point did it start making sense to bring more talent in-house? One thing that I often see with companies that build up their internal marketing team is they can have expertise about that industry that's better than what the agency will have. So they'll know their products better. They'll know the industry better. They'll know their competitors better. It's not that the agency can't do that. It just takes a little bit of time for them to ramp up. If you've got an employee that's in there and that knows everything, all the industry really good, that's nice to have. I usually like to say that internal, where you want to start is content writers, email marketers, maybe even designers. If you're doing a lot of design work, those are where you might want to start when you're looking at what people to bring in-house. Also, sometimes it's nice to have kind of a jack of all trades, somebody that can manage all the different levers of the marketing within the company. But it's kind of like the great analogy here is, when do you use a specialist and when do you use a generalist? If you think about this like a doctor, if you go to a family primary care physician, they're going to be able to handle a wide breadth of different issues that you might have. But then let's say you've got an issue, you've got heart problems. They don't have the specialty to do that. So they're going to recommend you off to a cardiologist, right? And then you get that special attention. That's really where the agency can help you in digital marketing. I've been doing this a long time, 20 plus years. I've never found somebody that's really good at more than one marketing channel. In other words, I see a really good SEO, I see a really good designer, a really good content person, and I try to hire those within the agency so they're really good and they're smarter at what they particularly do, what their specialty is. And that way, when we're working with a client, if I've got a question over here, I bring in this specialist. If I have another question over here, I bring in this specialist. That is the power of a marketing agency. Now, most small and mid-sized businesses that I talk to, they can't afford to have a full marketing team, and so they have to pick and choose. This can also be a little bit overwhelming because if they're working with a lot of different freelancers or multiple agencies, it can take up a lot of their time and pull them away as a business owner or a salesperson marketing from other things that are really important that they need to do within the company. And by hiring the right agency, like I said, you get access to the right specialists, but it's all at less than the cost of a full-time employee. So that's a really valuable thing to look for when you're a small to mid-sized company. Yeah, it's tempting to bring that in-house, but be careful because you need to make sure, do I have the specialty I need to stay on what's going on with AI advancements or the latest algorithm? It's literally impossible to stay on top of all of those within digital marketing. So just be careful and know when you need to bring in the experts and when you can have a generalist that'll work and do some of that for you. The good news here is that you don't have to figure it out all by yourself. If you have the right team by your side, then you're going to see the difference in the results and you're going to be led to make the right decisions. You'll be more likely to make the right decisions. With the right team by your side, you get expert results, and that's good peace of mind. And meanwhile, you can avoid having all that extra overhead that you need to put towards your bottom line. I hope this tip was helpful for you. Here's to your success.